So the first thing we should do is create sample data that will be products, customers, and each customer will have certain existing subscriptions which will be using a combination of products from the product listing. So let's go ahead and create the test data. So test data is being created using the REST API, which is supported by the platform out of the box. We're getting a lot of customers created here. So the structure of the accounts is something like there is a user, parent user, that has a child customer, and this is a grandparent. It has a child, it has a couple of child accounts, and each of those child accounts further have many end users or subscribers. Since the bill is paid by the grandparent, so all the child accounts, including the sub accounts of the grandparent, are set to not receive invoices, and therefore only so all of the sub accounts, if you look at them, like this is the sub account and this is the grandchild, all of them say that the parent ID will receive the invoice. So customer 20 receives all the invoices, which is the grandparent of all these sub accounts. In the product side, we have SMS category with peak, non-peak, and weekend SMSs. Plan category has plan A and plan B. We'll look at it later. Data, again similar to SMS, there is a peak, non-peak, and weekend data, and same goes for calls. Under bundles, we have bundles which include call bundle, SMS bundle, and the data bundle. The call bundle includes 100 free units of calls. It should be minutes actually, so let's edit this, take a look. So the call bundle, also called as calls 100, is providing calls of the category calls. This category has 3 different calls: peak, non-peak, and weekend calls. So any of those calls up to 100 minutes will be free, because that's the bundle that's this product describes. Now each customer has been subscribed to all the bundles at least once, so all of these bundles and one of those plans exist with all the customers. So if you look at orders of any customer, all of them have a single order. It's a monthly order starting on 1st of May, and it has a plan and one of those bundles. And if we look at this customer in full details, we can look at the active add-on section, and this active add-on section tells us that this customer has 100 free units of each of the calls, SMS, and data. This should actually be saying the calls, SMS and data, but that's probably a listing bug. We can also click on a bundle and see what's the available, what's the usage of that bundle. Currently there is no usage. We're going to create the usage. So first let's go ahead and upload a rate card. We also need to look at the rate card definition. And rate card definition goes like this. So let's call it peak rates or wholesale peak rates. Price column in this rate is going to be peak per minute, and you just need to drag this rate card. And so we can save it now. So we have wholesale peak rates. Let's configure this rate card because it's not configured yet, and without configuration the rate card is not useful, because we have to tell the system how it has to convert the figures, rates, quantities between the CDR and the rate card, because typically a CDR can have input quantities in seconds, whereas the rate card is rating everything in minutes. And excuse me, and the rate card then has to apply the rate on the right unit. So we need to edit the rate card. Per event charge column. Per event charge is not the variable charge, but a fixed charge per event. So per peak call there could be a charge. Charge unit column name is the column name of the charging unit of a rate card. So we could have a column on the rate card that tells us what is the charging unit. For example, the rate is per minute. The rate could be per 15 seconds. So we could have a column that tells us. Right now we don't have that scenario, so we'll leave this blank. Charging unit tells us that the rate card is rating everything in minutes. Pricing fields. Select the fields. These are the fields we want to be shown on the record that gets created. The charge that gets created inside billing. We want certain fields from the rate card, like description, which is probably explaining the destination of the call. Similarly, we are also showing the matching column. Charge product is something which is not applicable in this scenario. Rate card is rating everything in minutes, but the mediation quantity is in seconds. So that's what these two fields are. Rate card is in minutes, mediation quantity is in seconds. Now we have a fully configured rate card. Similarly, we need the same rate card for wholesale off-peak rates. The column for this is going to be off-peak per minute, and then we need to drag the rate card here again. We're using the same rate card because in this version of our we don't support multiple rates per rate card. So we're essentially creating multiple rate cards using the same rate card. Per event, in this case, doing the off-peak per call, charging images in minute. Combine and description is what we show, rate card is in minutes, and then input quantities in seconds. We'll create another one, wholesale weekend rates, and the price per column in this case is weekend per minute. We need to plug the rate card again. Configure this again. Per event is weekend per call, this is minutes, this is combine and description, this is minutes, this is seconds. So we have 3 rate cards. For each rate card we need to create a pricing. Pricing is the component that manipulates or determines the pricing. So the logic of pricing is built into this component. Let's call it wholesale peak pricing. This pricing is based on a rate card. We need the peak rate card. The matching column is combined. We're matching on a single field, and this single field is called as the destination code. We need an exact match, mandatory match, and that's it. Now we're using the same rate card, so the pricing field we need more pricing components, almost the same combination but with different rate cards. Currently we're using the wholesale peak rate card. So wholesale peak is matching and combine on destination code, exact match, must match. We need more. Wholesale off peak pricing, it's also rate card. Wholesale off peak combined pricing field is the destination, exact match, and mandatory match. Then we need wholesale weekend rate card, wholesale weekend rates combined, destination code, match, mandatory match. So we have 3 different off-peak rate cards, weekend rate card, and peak rate cards. Now these rate cards, we need to so what we have done is linked the rate card with the pricing component. Pricing component has the logic to receive certain input, then it'll pick what kind of component it is. It's a rate card pricing component, it'll pull that rate card and it'll do the pricing. But the product need to know about their pricing, and this can only be done on a plan. Only a plan can be configured to give variable pricing to the products. So we want to select the pricing here. Let's say we'll first configure peak pricing. So all the peak calls, peak SMS and peak data will be priced using the peak rate card. That is the wholesale peak pricing. Similarly, for off peak we'll rate the non-peak calls, non-peak data, and non-peak SMS. And then for the weekend calls we rated using weekend pricing, weekend SMS data, all using the weekend components. So there we go. We configure plan A exactly the same way we need to configure plan B. Like plan A is now showing pricing. All the customers are subscribed to plan A and plan B. So 50% customers are subscribed to plan A, 50% to plan B. And that can be used to demonstrate plan A could have different pricing and plan B could be different pricing. But right now we're going to just have exact same pricing. The base prices are different, but their component pricing are going to be same. So we have plan B configured as well, plan A configured. I think we need a file format now. File format tells us the CDR format, and the CDR format is lots of CDRs here. So the CDR format has to be described. This is the CDR format, and so CDRs don't carry the format. Their format has to be defined. This is an XML, so we'll just drag this XML here. Wholesale. Save as it is. And go to plugins. And in plugins we want a reader. CDRs or CSV files. So we want a separated file reader that selects the format. That's it. And maybe 100 byte size, I guess. Now we need a processor. Processor needs a product IDs. We're going to give the product IDs beacon, non-beacon, beacon 20, 21, 22, 20, 20, 21. We're going to add data. It's 14, 15, 16. 11, 12, 13. Calls are going to be 11, 12, 13. Save the plugin. Create a mediation configuration. Save. And then we just need to add one more plugin for the error handling. Just true, then wholesale errors. That's it. So we have products, pricing, customers, subscriptions, and we have rate cards. We can now, and rate cards can also go through a cycle of updation. Like currently the first rate card that you upload is effective date is 1st January 1970. However, if the rate card rates were to change, if we can just click on update and then choose a new file and set an effective date of, let's say, 1st of September, and save it. What the system will do is use the rate card based on its effective date. So all the CDRs prior to September 1st will be rated using the previous file or the rates, and all the CDRs on or after 1st of September will be rated using the new rates. That's how we can kind of evolve the rate card. So I think we can do mediation now. Currently there is no mediation run, and then we can also open dashboard here. Dashboard is a work in progress functionality. It's complete. So let's let's go in see the mediation run. Mediation, wholesale. I'll just upload a file and trigger. So if you look at the processor, prior to mediation all the cores were not being used, but now we're using all the cores. So it's good to know. So mediation is running here. It's processing close to 1,000 records already, and we can confirm that here as well. Right, so it's close to 1,200 and keep on refreshing 1,400, and that's exactly what it's showing here. And we can also browse certain records like while they are being processed. So we can see that the input quantity is 2014, but the resolved quantity is 34 because we're converting the rates, and then we're applying everything. So the other thing is we can download them as a CSV, or you can also search for a specific CDR key. And the other way to browse things is also go to an order. So if you look at an order, it's rating calls at 0 because of the bundles, but once the bundle exhausts, then the peak data usage is getting collected as the outside the bundles, and it's being rated at the rate card rates. Similarly, weekend data, but the customer has already exceeded the peak calls, so he's getting charged for the peak calls as well. We can look at the customer and see. So I was going to share how to look at the events. So this is the button where you can go and look at the events. So these are all the peak calls, quantity, input quantity, resolved quantity, and then the rate and the amount. So the rate 0 is for all the calls that are picked up from the bundle. Otherwise there is a charge. And this is like all the events for that customer. go back to the order, look at the customer, inspect the customer, and we can look at the add-ons, and let's say the product for so the quantity is the quantity that's picked up, and if you look at the remaining quantity, this is 0 actually, this is a exponential notation for 0, but the remaining quantity is 0, which means the customer has already consumed their total log quantity of 100. Now the system, because the bundles were subscribed as a monthly, the system is automatically going to credit the customer with another 100 units on 1st of the next month, that is June. Same, we can browse the history of the add-on usage. Customer is already consumed. And SMSs were units, so they were consumed at one at a time, so you'll see 100 records here. There are minor labeling issues. This should share the category name or the product name, then this showing the link instead. Those will be fixed. So that's what it is. We can create more bundles. We can go to a bundle. Bundle is a special category. We can create a bundle category using. So category is the determining factor, everything that's done here. So if a category type is add-on, then it will be treated as a bundle. It's not a normal product. It's priced as a normal product, but it comes with 3 quantities, and those can be configured. Many combinations of many quantities can be added to the same bundles. For example, if you were to add a new bundle, I'll call it let's call it a platter calls SMS data. We can give many things here. SMS, we can give specific SMS, or we can give all of the SMSs for free. SMSs are always units. We can add them. DSLs are for validation, they are for future use. Similarly, you can add data here. Data is in megabytes or bytes or whatever. So bundle does not mean one specific product. It comes with a price, but it could be a bundle of products. So that gives the additional flexibility, and then we can also asset enable the bundles because they are products, and every product can be asset enabled at the category level, like using this checkbox, and then we can tie in assets to the bundles. The mediation will run for a while, so we can't be waiting for the results. It will take some time. I'll let this run and share the results separately.